It's free First Friday here at Whatcom Museum. We're having a great time talking about radio because how important is radio to us?
Radio is very important.
It's everything.
How did you get involved in marketing? Because you're a marketing person at the station, right?
Well, I started off doing print marketing for What's Up magazine, which was Bellingham's music magazine for 2 decades. And made some connections with the radio stations. With one of our other stations is KISM 92.9, the classic rock station. I made some connections with them while I was doing that, and it just kind of ended up over some time transitioning into me doing this aspect instead, which I love because music is the source.
Give me your full name.
Victor Gotelaere.
I'm Scotty VanDryver with KAFE 104.1, program director, afternoon show host, and I got started literally right out of high school. My senior English teacher's husband was the sales manager at the time. He knew I was interested, and he ended up calling me saying, hey, if you want a job, you better get in here. So I started doing everything, stacking CDs, cleaning floors, taking the van out looking for stickers, and then just kind of worked up, working at all the different air shifts, weekends, overnights, then middays and afternoons, and just kind of went from there.
How do you feel being the program director for these stations? You're up on U Street, right?
Yes.
I live right on U Street.
Okay.
So you're up there. Is it a big studio?
No, in fact, I go back to when I first started. I was shocked at how small of a space it was, because you see it on TV and you think these big buildings. I mean, we got a pretty good sized building, but the actual studio itself used to be the end of a hallway. So
what about marketing now? Marketing has changed a lot, hasn't it? Well, I mean, it has, because there used to just be terrestrial radio, song, commercial. But now we've got, all of our stations are available to stream as well, so that's different commercial content. We've got a great website called mybellinghamnow.com, which is no paywall local news. And then we do a full complement of digital marketing as well. And so you can take all those different levels of, first they hear the message on the radio, they may have never heard of your business before, and they're driving to work or they're driving around doing their errands. So when they get home, they get online, they're going to Google you, or they're going to search for your business and whatever. So you want to then also, when they come up on the Google search results, you want to make sure that they're visible towards the top of the list with a similar message that they heard is what they're seeing. And then once they go online and either click on your website or maybe one of your competitors' websites, then you start getting digital ads about them to really just keep the messaging consistent, keep people thinking about you, because it's not, generally you're not going to hear somebody's ad on the radio and do a dramatic U-turn in the middle of the road and race over there. But when a need arises for something, you want to be at the top of their mind for whatever that need is, that you can meet it, so they maybe don't have to go and search for you. They're going to be like, these guys that I keep hearing on my favorite station, I'm going to try them first.
Now there's a lack of new DJs, apparently. It seems like everybody goes to Spotify, listens to Spotify, but a DJ is very important in many ways to get the message about the music, about the station. How do you handle that, getting new people in?
Oh, we're always looking for new people, but you hit it on. The personalities and the DJs are kind of the secret sauce of what makes radio work. Everybody can hear their music wherever. There's 1,000 different ways, but what makes us unique is we're here, we're in our community, we're connected to all the local events that are going on. We go to the local businesses that advertise, that we're out in the community. And so, like I said, we're always looking for people, trying to get people hooked when they're young, and then they turn them into lifers.
And then I see your t-shirt, WKRP in Cincinnati. I was telling people that TV really turned me on to radio in many ways, but radio has always been there. In fact, I heard that Bellingham had the first station up in the 1920s at the YMCA.
Yes.
They had a bootlegger that started the station and would tell them when the cops were around, and it was not safe to come in. Does radio still do that? Does it still affect the community?
Absolutely, because like you said, we're out in the community. I mean, like we're here today. But we go to like grand openings of businesses, or when there's nonprofits that are having a fundraiser, we'll be at that and we'll help drive people down. We'll let them know like these events are going on. You want to be engaged in your community, know what's going on. They're going to talk about it on the radio. You want to know when not to go onto I-5 because there was just a crash and things are going to slow down. You're going to get that live right now if you've got your radio on. Spotify's not going to give you that. Plus the DJs, and I know I'm a little biased, but I think our DJs are world class. And I've lived in different parts of the country, and I've listened to different radio shows, and they're really engaging. They give just enough of their personal lives that after a while you feel like you know them, and you build like a relationship and like a trust with them. You're spending your mornings with them. During COVID, when people were at home and afraid and didn't know what was going on, these are people that were letting you know, these are the newest updates. This is what's going on right now. When a natural disaster strikes someplace, sometimes the only thing you have, put your batteries in your transistor radio, and you can stay informed of what is going on in your community right now, live. Plus, on radio, you don't get biased opinions. When they read the news, these are the facts that we know right now. Draw your own opinion. It's not political, it's news.
Do you have a way of telling how many people are listening to you online?
Oh yeah, all the online stuff is absolutely trackable because you track IP addresses. But then again, if somebody is streaming on their computer and that's what's hooked into, say, a dentist's office, you don't know how many people are working in that office or how many people are in that waiting room or how many people are at that grocery store. So you can't get exact, but you can definitely tell how many IP addresses are listening at a certain time.
You made a good point about listening to radio in case of an emergency. Now, people listen to radio in cars a lot now, don't they?
Yep.
Do you get your majority of listeners in cars, and can you tell who's listening?
You know, I think it depends a lot on the different station and the different format. So we play on KAFE, we play a pop music format. So yes, we get a lot of listening in cars, but we're also an at-work station, so we know people are listening while they're at work in their office. My dentist listens in his office, which is always kind of weird when I'm having work done because I associate the drill with the radio station.
And maybe it's in tune.
But yeah, I mean, it does depend a little bit on what the station is and all that. But yeah, I mean, cars and businesses and you know, if you're putting out a good product, people are going to listen no matter what.
So who were some of your radio heroes when you first started listening to radio?
Wow. When I first started, well, our GM is waving to say her, but when I first started, I didn't know her. I don't know.
From when I was a kid, the biggest ones that stick out are, Casey Kasem, Wolfman Jack, Dr. Demento, the classics that were syndicated and you could hear everywhere. Like, who didn't used to get it? Well, generationally, of course, but on Saturdays, listening to Casey Kasem in the American Top 40, everybody did that. You wanted to know who was going to be number one for the week, and it was a big thing. And then on the weekends, like I think it was Sunday night where I grew up, that they'd have like request and dedication hour. So in high school, you'd want to call into the station and give your shout out for your girl, and and make sure that she was listening so she could hear that song that you first went roller skating to on your first date.
I would have to say Dave Walker. He is a mainstay and an icon in this area, being born and raised in Whatcom County. I think he has been on the radio just about my entire life. So,
do you think you'll be on radio your entire life too?
Well, I'll do it as long as they'll have me.
Yeah, it's important. Well, thank you both, and give us the website again where we can hear and find out more facts about you guys.
You can hear KAFE at KAFE.com, KAFE.com.
And then some of our other stations is KISM 92.9 classic rock station, so it's KISM.com. There's 989 KBay. That's like a classic hit station, so it's like late 60s to early 2000s top 40 hits, like every song everybody knows by heart. We've got KGMI is AM 790, that's a news talk station, so it's great to know what's going on with weather, traffic, local news, things that matter in our community right now. And 1170 AM and 97.9 FM is KPUG, so that's local sports like high school and football. We also cover what's going on with the college games, and then Seahawks, Mariners, Kraken. if something cool's going on, it's on one of our stations. And don't forget, for free local news without a paywall, mybellinghamnow.com, great source for information.
Well, thank you both so much. I got a lot of information. I love it.
Absolutely.
We've got more.